Yes guys, what's going on? Hashtag Shura here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. And here today, ladies and gents, we are back with the little mini series top 5 best and most overpowered players in each position. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen me do this before. We're trying to do it on like a monthly basis now, guys, just to always look at all the updated cards and the best in each position for you guys to use in your FUT Champs teams, division rivals, squads, etc. Maybe even squad battles, boys. Hopefully we're not grinding squad battles, but you never know, some people out there really do. I don't know how we've got into squad battles in this intro anyway, but I'm sure you guys would have seen this series before. We're basically going to each position on the pitch and look at the top 5 players in each position. One thing very important to cover in this video is that there'll be no icons in it other than the keepers. The keepers we can put some icons in just because who really cares? I think I've waffled on enough in this intro. If you guys do enjoy the video, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're on the push for 100k, boys, so anyone not subscribed, if you could, I'd be really happy about that. And without further ado, let's jump into the video, chaps, and get flying. Right, boys, so starting us off in goal, we've got the man Hugo Lloris. It sounds like I'm doing a bloody squad builder here. The first keeper out of the 5. Obviously, boys, we've literally just had 2 decent new promos come out. FUT Fantasy promo, which is very interesting. And then, of course, also the FUT Captains promo as well. Now, other thing really important I want to mention in this video as well, boys, is we're not going to include any SBC cards, chaps. SBC cards are off the list because basically, if there's an SBC's been done and you guys haven't done it, it's a bit dead, that, isn't it, really? Anyway, flying in, fellas. Keepers, we're not going to speak about too much. Let's be completely honest. Hugo Lloris, very good keeper, fantastic links, and he's going in a lot of pro teams, boys. This is probably the keeper I want to speak the most about because it's a new keeper. It's one we've not really seen in these videos before that I've done. So Lloris is an absolutely fantastic one. Amazing links, obviously strong links into Varane, etc. Obviously, if you've done his SBC card, fantastic stuff. Next up, we got Manuel Neuer, the FUT birthday man. Honestly, the most pointless 5-star skiller in the world. I used him and I thought, oh, sick, 5-star skill keeper. Then you do it and you're just there like, what's the point? But realistically, he's got an absolutely amazing card with great stats, and obviously there's so many good Bundesliga centre-backs, so he's certainly a man that you'd want to look to get into your squads, chaps. Then we've got Flappy Hands in Donnarumma here. Next up, Gianluigi Donnarumma. Obviously, what Donnarumma gives you is unbelievable links, like, you know, the strong links into Marquinhos, some icon centre-backs that you guys might have, etc., being Italian. And then the 2 best icon keepers as well, fellas. We're going to go with Petr Cech being one of them. Obviously, 6'5". He's absolutely spectacular. Van der Sar as well in 6'6", and you could also go with Schmeichel as well, boys. It really is an absolute toss-up between the lot of them, I'll be completely honest with you. But Van der Sar is probably like the top meta keeper we see most in pro player teams, I would say. And then as well, on the subs bench, we've got the man Mendy. He's just an honourable mention here, chap. I mean, he literally is a Team of the Year honourable mention. The pun was not meant there, I'll be honest. It's a bit embarrassing, that, to be honest. But I've been using him on my pro team for quite a while. I've got, look, 517 games on Mendy. He is absolutely just a weird keeper. To be honest, Mendy sums up keepers, lads. Sometimes he's amazing, sometimes he's terrible. But yeah, for you guys, I'd like to say that you get one of these 6 keepers into your teams and you'll be absolutely flying. That's the goalkeepers done, chaps. Let's move on to the left backs. Right, boys, and into the left backs we fly. First off with Jérôme Roussillon. Was that the right pronunciation? Any French viewers here? There probably isn't going to be any French viewers. Anyway, chaps, into the left back we go. Roussillon, I mean, just a decent card. Obviously has the chance of going up as well, which certainly adds to it. But, you know, we've got French, we've got a Bundesliga left back here, and he's probably more of a cheaper alternative for you, chaps, I'll be honest. Like, he's a cheap option for you guys to use. It's obviously not like the greatest of cards in terms of like top card, but for the price you guys will get him for, he is still very, very meta, and he has fantastic links. Next up, we've got Alexandro. Again, quite a basic card in terms of like at this stage of the game. We just don't really have a load of like great left backs and right backs, I've found through looking through these chaps. Obviously still a good card, but he's certainly not a man you'd want to dribble with too much. But one thing I did want to touch on with these fullbacks, especially in this video, guys, is the fact that we've obviously got 3-5-2 that's come into the meta very, very much recently. So it's interesting if you guys have on one side of the pitch a right back or left back that's like, you know, pretty stocky and quite like not the greatest on the ball. Sandro's a great example of someone who would like work quite well at centre back in a 3-5-2, but then you want the other one to be quite versatile. So a good example is Nuno Mendes, for example, who we'll have coming up later on. Another man we've got, the FUT Captains Gunter card. This is another example of a great player who would be going in at centre back. If you guys obviously, you know, you might start in a 4-4-2, but then you move it into the 3-5-2. This is a man who would work really, really well for that for sure, with just amazing stats across the board, boys. I mean, Really, really consistent. Amazing dribbling as well. And then you'd obviously want to whack like a shadow on him or something like that to get the defending up, because the defending is a bit low at 85, but then the physical is absolutely great as well. Nuno Mendes as well, chaps. This is a man currently in my main pro starter team. This is just an absolutely fantastic card. 4 years younger than me as well, so that's not depressing at all. But an amazing card this is, and there's a reason he goes for 400,000 coins, chaps. An amazing left back. And finally, to finish us off, chaps, for the left backs, we've got the man Joao Cancelo. Probably the best centre midfielder in the game, right up there with Jude Bellingham, Ruud Gullit, even if you want to include the icons. A lot of people do start him at left back and then move him into centre midfield, boys, because look at this card. The fact you have 5-star, 4-star along with these kind of stats is absolutely fantastic. So that finishes off the left backs there, chaps. Some decent cards here. Let's now move into the centre backs, where we're going to be looking at 10 players instead of 5. Boys, just because it takes up 2 positions in the team, if that makes sense. Right, guys, and into the centre-backs here. We're starting off with another man who's... Bro, they're taking the piss. Another man who's 4 years younger than me. Absolutely fantastic. But this guy, I did use him on my RTG this week, fellas. He's already a fancy FUT upgrade, and he might even get upgraded a little bit more, I believe. A really, really great card, and for the price, is absolutely fantastic. Now, you're going to be seeing in this little section here, chaps, quite a few like little duos, etc., in terms of maybe leagues or nations that kind of all link together. The main thing I try and do with this video is obviously meta players, and one thing that adds to their meta is the fact that they're all in the same leagues, etc., and they all link with each other. Klosterman next up, chaps, another one, the fantasy FUT upgrade. This is certainly being seen in a couple of pro players teams, and I would certainly advise you guys, if you can get him into your squad, he's absolutely amazing. 91 pace on a centre back, can we just deep that? Is absolutely great. Another man from the Bundesliga, we've got Ndicka, 6'4", medium high work rates, a really, really great card. Basically, as I go through these centre backs quite quickly, lads, you'll see a lot of trend to them. All of them have over 80 pace and very high defending, and even excel in like passing and dribbling type stats. What you want to do is just make sure out of these 10 centre backs I show you here, you have some sort of set of the 2 centre backs in your team, you know, one set of the 2. But Ndicka's absolutely fantastic, and for the price you paid for him, again, a really, really great card. LaCroix, another man who's in a lot of pro players teams, maybe falling off a little bit now because the defending and physical is not as high as some other players, but he's still so good because of that 93 pace. So he'll always be featuring in pro players teams for a long, long time, I'm sure. And obviously the French link's absolutely fantastic. Ibanez is in there simply because he's just a cheap Maldini, fellas. I made a YouTube video on this man. He played absolutely fantastic. I want to get a few players in here for you guys who are good price-wise as well. I don't want to just put all the top best players in here, because you guys who have a little bit of a cheaper team, you're not going to be able to afford anything. So this is certainly a cheap player that I would say is very, very good for you to use. Rudiger, I mean, what can we say, ladies and gents? The best centre-back on the game, there or thereabouts, especially in terms of what we're able to use in our pro teams. He's just absolutely amazing. I did pack him during Team of the Year, which was an amazing pull. He's tradable as well, but I've never needed to sell him. He's always been in my team. 558 games. Just what a player. I almost said 558,000 coins then. Nice, Alex, but when? Mings, one of the new players from the FUT Captains promo, fellas. A really, really great card. And to be honest, is very, very similar to Rudiger. Now, I'm weighing up in my head whether to go for Mings over Rudiger or not, but I just trust Rudiger so much. In my pro team, we've got a big tournament coming up this week, chaps. That's why it's like quite important. And I'm speaking about my pro team here quite a lot. But this Mings card is absolutely amazing, and I do think he'd be absolutely great in your guys' squads. And we're going to see this man a lot in Weekend League, I can promise you that. Next up, we've got Varane. I mean, what can I really say about him too much? Now, I know I said no SBC cards, but this is the only one that, like, I'm breaking that chain with, just because in the centre-backs, we're showing 10 centre-backs. And how can I not really talk about Varane? If you've not done him, shit here, innit? But if you have done him, I'm sure you guys know how good he is. Then we've got Team of the Year Marquinhos, obviously one of the best centre-backs in the game, if not the best. The stats speak for itself. When you play against Marquinhos, as I'm sure you guys have experienced many a time, it's just horrible, isn't it? Let's be completely honest with each other. And then finally, we've got the man, literally they're the 2 best centre-backs, Ruben Diaz and Marquinhos, lads. If you can somehow have a back 2 of them 2, yeah, you guys have different bread, let's be honest. But they are absolutely spectacular. But yeah, looking at these centre-backs as a whole, I've got a couple of honourable mentions on the bench here. Collins, Niakite, Diogo Jalo and Stones. These are some other fantastic centre-backs here. But yeah, if you guys can have some sort of combination of 2 centre-backs from all of this list here, I'm sure you will see some success there. So finally, boys, let's now jump into the right backs to finish off the defenders episode. Right, guys, and to finish off the defenders episode, we are flying into the right back, starting off with the Champions League road to the final quadrado. Now, the reason I've kept this man in is because this is another guy who is really good for the new meta in terms of if you wanted to start him at right back, as long as you had a left back who could fit in at centre back, this is a man perfect for a right midfield position, you know. Literally a Hullet gang card, 5-star skills, 3-star weak foot's obviously not the greatest, but a really, really well-rounded card. Next up, we got Dubois. Okay, I can't really pronounce that too well. Not the greatest of cards, but definitely not the most expensive at the same time as well. And obviously great for links, being a French right back in the Ligue 1. I always think that's important. I always think we struggle to find that, having a French right back in the Ligue 1 that's got a really good card for some reason. Just doesn't seem to happen in FIFA too much. Next up, we've got Kyle Walker, 6 foot. I mean, an amazing, amazing card. And this is certainly one, guys, who can obviously get upgraded. So that is what makes him slightly more expensive, but a really, really nice card and works perfectly. As I've mentioned many times in this video now, guys, I'm sorry how repetitive some of this talking is from me, but that's just how it has to be in these kind of videos. A great player who could fit in at centre-back, and he's also good for right-back as well, but the 72 agility is a wee bit stinky, let's be honest. And then the final 2 right-backs, lads, we've got the fancy foot Atal. This is a man who can still go up as well in stats, and, you know, he seems to get a card every FIFA these days, an absolutely amazing player. 5'9", 4-star skills, 5-star weak foot, a spectacular card, and great links in the Ligue 1. There's so many Ligue 1 right-backs and left-backs here, by the way, because as we're getting into the final one of the video, chaps, we've got Hakimi, the most broken player in the game, let's be honest. Hakimi, you just can't really get past Hakimi. 5'11's absolutely great as well. Horrible to play against TBA Hakimi. Absolutely stinking, boys. So that'll finish off the right backs there, chaps, as well. Some really, really great cards in right back, to be honest. I'd said before that there wasn't so many great ones. Right back's actually a little bit better than left back, I would say. They're probably quite rivaled. Maybe they're not as bad as I first thought. The left backs and right backs are actually okay. It depends, obviously, whether you want to use them actually at right back or at centre back in a 3-5-2 or at right midfield, etc. I know I've spoke about the 3-5-2 a lot in this episode, boys, but it's just because it's become so much of the meta now. It's absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, chaps, that's the defenders finished. Right, ladies and gents, well, that will finish off the defenders episode. I hope you guys found this helpful in terms of looking at the top 5 in each position. Make some sort of combination of this back 4 that I've shown you guys in this video, and I'm sure you'll see some more success in your FUT Champs, Division Rivals games, etc. We'll obviously have the midfielders episode coming out and then the attackers episode coming out as well, ladies and gentlemen, so you guys can see all of the best players in each position. If you guys did enjoy the video, drop a like and also subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one. Until then, have a fantastic day.